got some really good submissions for this KVJ show listener movie. The premise is that we kind of start off with a little bit of a plot and where the movie starts. And then every single day, people submit where they would like to see the movie go. And then we'll just vote on it on the After the Show podcast. And that's where it is. And say, okay, we'll see what we get tomorrow. And then we'll do it for 10 days, 2 weeks basically. And then we'll be like, okay, we got it. And then we'll start putting together whatever we need to film it. And the people who submit it can have like a role in the movie if there's some spots, an extra, if nothing else, and it'll get in the credits.
That's cool.
Put it together. It might be kind of fun. Just see what we get.
Yeah, a group project.
I love doing these kind of things, yeah, because back in high school, we used to kind of do that, and this was back in the days of, like a VHS camcorder, and,
yeah.
It was so tricky. And I remember my next door neighbor, they were older than me, but when they were in college at a high university, they made a movie called Bastard Face. And it was just a stupid Michael Myers Halloween kind of like horror spoof movie, and they would make it when they were drinking.
I think all kids do. I think it's very common for the youth to gravitate towards the horror genre.
Yeah. So we did that. So when I was in high school, we did one called Hell Week 90, and it was a kid that dies in a hazing thing in a school, and then he comes back and starts,
haunting.
Yeah,
I like that.
Killing everybody.
I would like to see a copy of that.
Yeah, I think we made it through about half the movie, and then we just kept getting too drunk, and then we were going,
You'll make about 3 minutes of the movie, and it's like, wait, what?
Yeah, and then we were just so drunk and unfocused. We're like, what are we doing again? Wait. I don't even know what's going on here.
We'd do that as kids when the Penningtons first got a camera. Oh my gosh. And we got it kind of late. Most families would get it. And we're always about 3 years late of the trend. But when we first got that, we would do little movies. And it was edited so shitty.
Yeah, right.
You'd be talking, and halfway through the sentence, there'd be an edit.
Right. So here's some of the ideas on where we're going to start with this. And we'll figure it out. And then on Monday, we'll announce where we are. And then pick it back up on the After the Show podcast. But this one from Kristen said, I really like the idea of Kevin getting Jason's brain. So it would be my body, Jaybird's brain. I think you guys should all play yourselves and do a Freaky Friday type of movie where Kevin and Jaybird switch bodies and they're trying not to tell anybody. Virginia catches on almost immediately and helps you two try to figure out how to switch back. And in the meantime, Kevin and Bird will have to live each other's lives. Kevin and Jaybird's body will have to deal with Ann. And Jaybird and Kevin's body will have to do Kevin's workout, take care of Cannon, and deal with the Queen.
I mean, this is like a wacky 80s comedy right there.
It is, yeah. That's kind of where it goes. I could be kind of interesting. I've often wondered, what would it be like if Jaybird and I switched lives?
But, okay, so what would the criteria, if we were to switch lives, would we know that we switch lives? Like, I would know I'm in your body and I got to do Kevin things?
Yes.
Yeah, that would be tough.
Yeah.
People would think, what the fuck happened to Kevin?
Why is Kevin so irresponsible?
But
He's normally so on it.
But then I would have to try to keep up Jaybird's act so that nobody knew it.
And they're like,
That'd
why
be
is
the whole thing? And I don't even know if I could be that
like,
strange.
why is
Jaybird eating salad?
Why is Jaybird so fucking boring?
What happened to Jaybird?
He used to make us laugh so much.
I know, right? He sounds so serious. What happened? Keith sent this one in, said, Jason is very depressed from losing numerous no-name movie games, and it shows, and he even tries to cheat. He messes that up and then gets caught. Now, this shows a different side of Jaybird.
Oh.
Then comes Drunk Girl Trivia. The drunk girl makes fun of him for losing the no-name movie game, and after they finish recording Drunk Girl Trivia, she goes missing.
That really might happen.
The last person to see her here is Jaybird. Proof is on the recording. But did he kill her? Is she okay? Find out if he is a lovable spaz or a murderer.
Lovable spaz.
Or maybe he's a lovable spastic murderer.
You're right. He's got two sides.
Blood is everywhere. I mean, just even worse than normal.
Could you imagine this guy?
Oh, if he murdered, yeah.
I would be so easy to murder, but if I was a murderer, I would be caught within minutes. My DNA would be everywhere.
Oh, my gosh. You would just have blood splattered all over your face.
My hair would be in the blood. It would be fucked.
Oh, yeah. This one said, hey, KVJ, I think you guys should do a movie from the beginning of your careers to now. I think your fans and listeners enjoy watching how y'all got your start and your rise to the top of the Florida radio scene. It's from Nanette. The one thing I do like is sometimes, Sandler will do that a lot, where they go back in time and then they try to make them look young again and kind of like do the whole thing.
That is funny.
Mm-hmm.
But he has like a budget.
Oh, this is
It
gonna.
takes
absolutely.
money to make us look young again.
Make no mistake, this is going to be a very low budget production.
We might want to consider a flashback scene, though. It might be kind of funny.
Flashbacks are good. Yeah, for sure.
If we could get like a wig with me with frosted tips and a disco shirt, could do some of my old dance moves.
Your body's so different, though.
I know.
That's
yeah.
what makes it funny, though. It actually it's funny when people they do the flashback, but they still look old.
Yeah.
All right, we can nail that.
There we got that, and I got a disco shirt.
That we got. This one on the homeless conversation we started off yesterday's show with. This is from Will. Said, hey, I listened to yesterday's ATS podcast, and Kevin was talking about how while giving some change to a homeless guy, the guy grabbed his arm in the car. Scary experience, and I went through one too. I was approached at a gas station, and as I put air in my tire, I gave the change in my pocket, a couple bucks, to this guy that said he needed some, and then asked if I wanted help with the tire, and I said, no thanks. This is where it turns freaky. He then asked me if I'm gay. I said, yeah. He flung the change back at me while saying, here, take this shit back. Then he walked away, then turned to come back, and he was mumbling crazy talk.
Oh, no.
I had to drop the air hose and rush to my trunk to get a tire iron because I had no idea what this guy was going to try. He backed off once I showed him my weapon, but it has forever changed how I deal with the homeless.
Now, when you say weapon.
The tire
Tire
iron.
iron.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. That's the weapon. Oh, yeah. Tire iron. That's
no joke.
But I feel like a tire. I think it go wrong with a tire iron. If you don't get that one shot in, if it falls, you got to go 1 for 1 on that.
If you pick up a tire iron, you're a different level. I'm impressed.
I feel like I could fend somebody off with a tire iron. Tire irons, I don't sweat a tire iron.
No, you should sweat a tire iron.
You should.
I don't.
I have one.
Okay. You haven't seen a tire iron in effect. I was driving my mom's minivan down Main Street in Logan, Ohio one Friday night when, as I stopped at a stoplight, somebody jumped into my car. And you don't lock your car doors, any door in Logan. You just don't think about it. I look over, and there is Don Conley sitting in my front seat. His whole side is ripped open. I'm like, Don, what is going on? He's bleeding profusely all over his face. He's like, them fucking Castle boys got me with a tire iron.
The Castle boys.
And he reaches into the back seat, and my mom had some laundry. He grabs her nightgown and wraps it around his head to stop the bleeding.
Okay, well, that nightgown's a wash.
That's Conley being Conley.
I drive another 2 blocks. I'm like, Don, do I need to get you to the hospital? He's like, no, you need to get me to the fucking Castles. And I'm like, I don't think I can do it. 2 blocks later, we're going by the Down Under, which is a bar there in Logan, the Hideaway. And he's like going, there's your fucking car. I'm out. And he hops out and goes right back after him. And that was my story. But the
Wow.
damage done to his head / I thought he had been shot in the head. It was crazy.
Like,
a
Don,
tire iron can do a lot.
Are you in pain? Pain don't hurt.
Yeah, he was.
Pain don't hurt.
He was not.
Did your mom ever ask about the nightgown?
Yeah, I just told her. I mean, they knew about the Conleys. She's like, oh my God. Like, she was like, I went right in. I'm like, Mom, I don't think you probably want this back.
Did
I'm
you kill the Conley brothers?
I'm like, Don got jumped by the Castles and hopped in your van and wrapped it around us. She's like, you know. all
Did
right.
she do
All
the,
right.
oh, Don, one of those, like, that's just the Conley
Kind of,
boys?
yeah, it's just Logan boys being Logan
Tell
boys.
me about the Castle boys. These are new. Who are the Castle brothers?
Castle Brothers, they were, and where I grew up in Logan, especially, this is 80s, early 90s, they were what they called around there mulattoes. They were part black, part white. And so that was a real oddity where I was from because there was only one black kid in our entire class.
Okay.
Antoine Wallace was his name. And the weirdest thing, he was probably the biggest redneck in the entire school. He'd talk like this, and you'd have Antoine was all that way. And so, not to say definitely, but I think Don was a good bit racist.
Yeah, I can see that.
It doesn't sound like he would be.
Did I ever?
Backwards,
Oh, my God.
hillbilly ass.
I told you the last time I ever saw really Don Conley, we hung out, I was at Ohio University in Athens, Ohio. Unfortunately, it wasn't far enough away from Don in Logan, Ohio.
He could drive there.
Easily. It was about maybe 24 miles.
Okay.
And so
Too close.
one Friday night, shows up in my dorm, phone rings. Kevin, it's fucking Dawn. Get down here. We're going out drinking. I'm like, oh, shit. I'm like, Dawn, I'm like, I can't.
That hurts.
I
Like,
can't.
I know that was so long ago, but like you tell me that story, I instantly feel shitty. I'm like, oh, that's terrible.
Then I'm in my dorm room. I'm just take the phone off the hook, which you could do back in there because it's one of those like regular, old phones. And somebody, finally, my resident assistant comes up. He's like, dude, there is some guy downstairs causing a lot of problems out front. And he's like, he's threatening people and like.
He's threatening them and using your name.
Yes, that was it. He was like, he is trying to fight his way into the dorm.
How awful is that? Especially if you don't want to go out and do something
No,
that night.
I didn't. And there was a lot going on. I'm like, oh, gosh, what do I do? So I went down. I got done. We started heading uptown. And we're going uptown. And, luckily, Ohio University, this is where I really started to open my perspective. I loved it. Even though it was not far from Logan, it's a diverse population. I mean, it's a really well-rounded
town.
university. And most of the people are from the Northeast.
Okay.
So we were walking through. I don't know for certain, but they probably were on the football team because they were all about 6'2", very physically fit guys, about 10 of them walking. And yes, they were darkly complected. And Don noticed this and threw out a couple of really bad words that you should not throw out.
For no reason, he's just starting shit.
And you're next to him?
I'm trying to get as far away from him as I can.
Oh, my gosh. I would have run the other way.
And this is the main party street where everybody is. And he goes up to them.
To them?
For no reason. Just
no reason. I see them circle around him. Fists start flying. And he is in the midst of these 10 guys getting the shit kicked out of him. He then somehow, miraculously, like in a movie, goes flying out of the pack, rolling into the street. All right, motherfuckers, and runs right back into him. And that's when I take off and kept walking. And that was the last time I saw Don Conley.
Good.
He went back?
He went right back in. 10-1, and he
right.
was not even phased.
That is insanity.
It was unbelievable. And that was...
Yeah, he's racist.
He sounds like a dick face.
He does.
Oh, he was a handful. He was a handful.
Jeez. You're probably like, oh my, I hope nobody saw me with
Oh,
him.
I was just like, no, because I'm like, you never want to see these guys again on campus. And they're going, hey, was that your friend? We kicked the shit out of... No
Kick
idea.
him all week.
In a sense, I was like, I was so happy.
Oh, you were pulling. You were like, please kick his ass. Kick his ass.
Kick his ass raw.
Knock him out. Knock him out.
Please. Knock some sense into him.
He can't be taken down, though. I mean, even a group of 10 guys can't take him down.
He was one of those guys that it was scary because when he saw blood, even his own, he turned into a different kind of and that's where watching him fight was horrifying because
he's an animal.
It was like it would just be like, they talked about O.J. Simpson in that documentary I saw on ESPN that it was just like he was there, but it's like
red.
It was seeing red, and someone else was there. Like the eyes were, and when he would fight, you would see that, and it was horrifying. It was disturbing to watch. I couldn't watch his fights.
I played baseball with a couple guys like that, and it was almost kind of like when you know someone really well. You can start to see the storm forming before anyone else. And someone's saying shit. You're like, oh, man, that person needs to shut the fuck up. If not, there's going to be fists a flying. And sure, just like you're saying, they see red. They could get hit in the head with a bat. And that's not, they don't give a shit.
They shake it off.
They shake it off. If they're bleeding, they lick the blood.
You ever hear the stories? Yeah, no, you hear the stories about the guys that get tased and everything, and they keep coming to the cops. You're like, how? Like,
yes.
That would be Don Conley. Like, I don't think anything could slow him down. I think you could shoot. He'd be like a zombie. Conley would come after you. He couldn't be stopped. Like, he was just that kind of guy.
And you could probably, because you knew him so well, you could see shit developing before other people.
Oh, you smelled it. Yeah, you smelled it a mile away.
That's the worst feeling when you know it's about to go down and you're trying to stop it.
And it wasn't like we ever really hung out. It's just you would wind up at a party. He would be there. He'd sit next to you like...
And you'd rather be his friend than him to kick your ass.
That was kind of it. There were a lot of people that I was just friends with just because I didn't want them to hate me. Because I knew they could destroy me. So it was all about survival in Logan.
It's so much easier just to be a pussy.
It was. It really is. I was just that pacifist pussy trying to get along with everybody. I love the Castles. I love the Cox brothers. I love the Conley boys. I was just tight with all of them.
I honestly would have hated growing up there. It sounds fun to visit because you kind of made it into like a cartoon. I'd like to go there for a day or two, but oh my gosh, it sounds like the worst fucking place on earth.
Yeah.
When you were growing up, was there always like drama and fighting and kids wanted to get you? And...
That drama happened in the house usually. All my drama came from within. I wasn't allowed to do much as a kid, but I mean, I would get bullied a little bit as I was a little kid by some of the older kids, but for the most part, not so much. My brother was more the drama.
Okay.
My brother was more of a fighter. I was like Kevin. I was a pussy.
Proud of it.
Mama's boy.
So anyway, yes, that was his experience there. He said that he backed off once I showed him the tire iron, but it has forever changed how I deal with the homeless. And I just want to tell you guys, my other family, my story. P.S. Kevin and his #BeCool shirt made my day yesterday. Yum.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Gay
yum.
guys love it.
Yum. You know what rhymes with yum?
Oh, I do.
Oh, yes, you do.
Some.
That wasn't that what I was thinking.
Bum.
And this from Santina said, hey, listen to your ATSP discussion regarding the homeless. Caught me by surprise. I travel up and down South Florida for my job, and it always breaks my heart when I see a homeless person. I've been called idealistic and naive, though I do know that realistically, some people don't actually need the help or are, quote, faking it. I suppose my mentality has always been, even if I get 3 scammers out of 5, I have at least helped those 2 people that desperately needed help. Because I travel for my job, I've lately had a lot of snacks and fruits in a cooler with me, and I have been giving it out to anyone I see asking for help. I always want to do more, but every experience so far has been positive. Cannot tell you how it feels to see someone's entire face light up when you hand them just a few oranges and apples. It's both heartwarming and gut-wrenching. I've lately been mulling over this idea I've had and even debated sending you guys a suggestion. People always think about food and money when in regards to the homeless, but a lot of the essentials are missed out on. I've been thinking about making little packets of essentials for the homeless, things like socks, toothbrushes, small toothpaste, sunblock, granola bar, maybe a card telling them the places where they can go for help. I'm going to start probably next week, but if other KVJ listeners think this would be a good idea and better than just giving money, I hope it encourages them to participate. They would keep these small packets in their car, and when they see a homeless person who looks like they're struggling, they give it over. Sorry for the long email. Thank you for reading this. I love the idea.
Great
That might
idea.
be something we do with the KVJ Volunteer Army to put together and start making those packs that you could do and hand out. Because I think that's really it. I don't like where my current place is with it, and I would like to get it better, and something like this would help. You know, I want to have some of those positive experiences.
Absolutely. And, you know, you're not giving money. You're giving essentials that all of us, just a toothbrush and toothpaste, it just changes everything.
Yeah.
When we did that one stunt where I was homeless for a complete night,
Yeah.
and I was living on the streets, I did it for reals. The one thing I noticed was, and I apologize if I've said this before, but a lot of homeless people make their homes underneath a lot of those bridges. I remember
Yeah.
I went down there to kind of get some shelter, and a guy shooed me off. He's like, "This is my area. Go away." He got aggressive too. But just know that when you're walking around, that's where a lot of them make their homes there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's a good place to do it. I mean, because it's dry. It's usually a little bit warmer sometimes up there.
Well, I was by that Burger King off 45th, and I was taking a break, so I walked underneath, and I was just looking over. You ever look at something, and you're like, wait a minute. What am I looking at? Holy fuck, those are eyes. And I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
A guy's
Right.
looking at me. He's like, get out of here. This is my area. I'm like, oh fuck. I'm out of here.
Because he looked homeless.
Yeah, I did
The
look.
guy thought you were trying to stomp on his
Yeah.
territory.
Well, I get it, because in a sense, I was in his area, but I did not realize that.
Wow.
Let me see. Santina goes on to say, Jason, I hate cheese and actually take cheese off my pizza, which I only started eating during college. So take that, motherfucker. All right.
All right.
All right. This one about the 3-year-old dress code. We had talked about the dispute that had happened in Vegas when a mom with her young kids were out there. She had a 3-year-old daughter, and they were playing in a little fountain, shirtless, and somebody from the mall came out and said, you need to put a shirt on that little girl. Didn't care about the little boy, but said, yeah, you got to cover her up. And then we had the sick story about some guy, I think it was like in Pembroke Pines, that was arrested on Wednesday because he was making some photos of some kids that were splashing around in like a splash pool.
They grabbed his phone. They found like
Child
other
porn, yeah.
child porn, like just a dirty
Disturbing
guy.
images and stuff like that. Justin said, hey, just wanted to point out that if the main fear behind not allowing a 3-year-old girl to play without a shirt is because there could be a pervert. Newsflash, perverts like boys too, just saying. I understand why there's outrage over the girl, but everyone thinks the boy is just fine.
No, we're not doing that. We talked about that, and let's not make this into kids in general is what we're talking about.
He missed that part of the thing, and somebody had said, put it on a boy and a girl. That comment was made.
And like I said earlier, I don't think there's anything wrong with doing that. I mean, people are like, how can you not let kids just be kids and be innocent? I am all for that. Just know if there's a pervert with a camera, there's a good chance he's going to be filming.
Mm-hmm. This story from April said, hey, I want to comment. You had talked to a dad who was debating whether or not to do the scared straight with his kid and let the cops step in regarding his son. When I was 2 years old, my mom had died, and I ended up in foster care because my dad was and still is unfit.
Oh.
My foster mother was not that nice, and one night, one of the other foster kids told me to open my bedroom window. I was skeptical, but I did, and the alarm went off. My foster mom knew it was me that opened the window, but she allowed the cops to come anyway. When they arrived, she told them that she didn't know who I was, and that she wanted me off her property. I remember walking outside wrapped in my Bart Simpson sleeping bag and sitting in the back seat of the police car feeling so abandoned, lost, betrayed, etc. As I sat in the back seat, I saw the officer talking to her on the porch, and she was laughing, no doubt telling him that she was teaching me a lesson, but it was apparent that the officer didn't think it was funny or a good lesson. He came and got me out of the back seat, and I went back to the house. Months later, I was adopted by one of my aunts and returned to my real family. That happened to me when I was 3 years old, and I still remember it at 31 because I was traumatized. Parents, blood foster, or adoptive, please don't involve the police unless you really are having problems controlling your kids. The scared straight thing is not a good idea, and it will stick with them no matter what age.
To a 3-year-old? I
Horrible.
mean, what a shit for a foster mom.
That's messed up.
You are disgusting. Ugh.
Yeah, but good points. That conversation really kind of turned me on the whole scared straight concept.
Well, especially hearing everyone talk about it, and then people who actually went through it said it's not the best method unless you absolutely have to do it. You got a kid that keeps on robbing banks. Well, maybe scare him straight.
My mom did it with me one time. Well, it was like she had the choice of like I was, messing up, and it wasn't like, she brought the cops in. The cops had actually caught me doing something I wasn't supposed to do. And
what
they
were you
called
doing,
her.
Ralston?
Well, what had happened was we were out in Mom's minivan. It's getting a lot of talk here today. It was a very exciting minivan. You can't tell. Cruising around Logan, and we were drinking in the minivan. And one of my dumb friends decided that, because I'm like going, hey, we need to get rid of all these beer cans. And so I was going into the pizza crossing. We'd parked out back.
Oh, pizza crossing, yeah.
Yeah, that's where you went to see what's going on. Just check in, with the scene. Let
Gotta
people know
check
that.
it.
Let people
Yeah.
know that Kev was out.
Hey, I'm in the minivan.
Kev is out. Ladies, beware.
Kev is out. So I'm like going, hey, get rid of the beer cans. He's like, all right, okay, no problem. I start to head back to Mom's van from the pizza crossing, and I go around, and there's like 3 cop cars around with lights on. I'm like, oh, crap. So I don't even go in that direction. I start taking off another way.
Your heart dropping.
Heart dropping. I'm like, obviously, something is going down. It's not good. And my buddy Jason messed it up somehow. And so I get a couple blocks away. Woo! That one dude, Donnie Shaw, the cop, finds me. I can't take off running. So he's like, stop.
They cornered Ralston. They got him.
Yeah, they got me. Threw me in the back. And I'm like, what am I being arrested for? He's like, you're being arrested for underage drinking. I'm like going, how do you know that I've been drinking? He's like, because there's like 12 empty beer cans laying right by your mom's minivan. Dumbass just took the cans, shoot them out the side of the car right by the car.
Dummy.
What was this guy's name?
Jason West.
You got to watch these Jasons, man.
Yeah.
Jason's will bring you down.
I'll bring it down, brother.
I remember very well. And that was the story where you were talking today about the guy from The Bachelor that had killed the guy in Iowa and how every minute really counts. Luckily, I knew the ins and outs of the breathalyzer. And so when they were taking me in to try to get me, because they didn't have anything, and they were going to try to peg me with a DUI on it because it was, I was in the responsibility of the vehicle. So I luckily had some gum in my mouth. I knew if anything had been in your mouth within like a certain amount of time, they couldn't do the breathalyzer test. And so they checked my mouth, and I kept putting pieces of gum up around my cheeks. And so as I go, anything in your mouth? And I go, oh, you know what? Oh, gosh, Donnie, I missed a piece right here. And he got so mad. I wound up blowing a .008. And I was like 0.2 of a point away from that thing. I remember he started tipping things over and throwing things because he so badly wanted to get me on a DUI. But he had called my mom, and he had said, hey, we've got Kevin here. and we got your car, beer cans. Do you want to come handle this, or do you want us to take care of it? She's like, you take care of them. And so my mom just left it up to the cops.
I'm looking at your boy right now. I looked him up. He came right up.
Did he?
Yeah, from Logan.
That was the guy who used to drive kind of like around my house, and he would slow down and kind of like just check to see if I was home. Let me see him. Is that?
Every picture's in a bar.
Is it really?
That's him, right? From Logan?
No.
It's a different Jason.
Oh, Jason West.
Yeah,
I thought you were talking about Johnny.
That's
Donnie Shaw.
That's your boy, Jason West.
Let me see. Yep.
That's him?
Every
That's
picture.
Jason West.
He's in a bar.
He is. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what bar that is. Yeah, that's him. Yeah.
They turned the pizza crossing into a bar.
No, that's not Pizza Crossing. I think that's because I didn't do a lot of bar time. I was pretty much out of there by the time I was 21, so I didn't get to do a lot of bar stuff in Logan.
Well, too bad. That's why you're going back.
I don't know, man. Them bars in Logan.
If the pizza crossing was tough to handle.
Yeah.
Oh, your boy doing karaoke videos?
Is he really?
Yeah, Jay West has had to rock out, man.
Good Lord.
It is weird because I do this. I go on the Facebook page of a lot of people that I went to high school with.
Yeah.
And it is weird to see what they're up to, what they do, what they're like. It's just, they're so different.
I went to my reunion. I went with Panda about a year ago, and I just couldn't believe how many people banged. I knew of at least 5 people at my high school reunion that had sex during the reunion.
At the reunion?
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
Yes.
Wasn't it at Waterway Cafe?
All I know is a couple people totally got stuffed at Waterway.
Wow.
Dang, right at Waterway.
Oh yeah,
Waterway, make it happen.
numerous people.
That's impressive. You found Jason West like nothing. That was the dude that, got me arrested.
That motherfucker.
Yeah.
Don't worry, he won't be the last Jason that gets you arrested.
I'm working on it.
So let me see here. Also, April said, hey, what do you think about J. Anthony Brown leaving the Tom Joyner show and joining the Steve Harvey show? I'm sure you all have heard. I think it's super shady. What are your thoughts? Any inside radio intel that you have that the public doesn't?
Don't tell me shit.
Yeah, no, I saw the report on that, but I didn't even know that J. Anthony Brown had been with Tom Joyner. I don't know who's on those shows, but that is kind of weird because they're 2 leading national syndicated shows to have one person. It'd be like a Jaybird over here jumping a show across town or something like that.
Bird and Mo.
Mo, Sally, and Bird. It doesn't ring.
MSJ.
MSJ.
Now, if Jen and Bill want to hire me, I love me some Sonny.
I hear you,
I love their music catalog.
Here is a solution for Jaybird and his streaky glass.
Oh, yes.
Elise from Rio wrote in and said,
He doesn't wipe well, as he said on the main show.
I'm not a strong wiper.
I don't wipe well. Ugh. And he's single, girls.
I'm not talking about my butthole. I'm talking about my windows.
It just sounded like a butt thing.
She said, I've been listening to the show. A day behind the podcast, I heard Jason struggling with cleaning his mirrors and windows, and I'm a former housekeeper. And the trick I learned is this. You can clean your glass with Windex, Pine Sol, or even a spray bottle of water and a drop of dish liquid. Scrub the mirror, let it dry, and don't worry about the streaks while doing this. After it dries, take a dry, clean rag and buff out all the streaks. I clean homes for realtors, and this was my magic trick to make the windows and mirrors look brand new.
I got to get a cleaning person there, or whatever you call them, the home keeper or whatever you got.
Keeper.
Somebody that...
He doesn't wipe well. He also doesn't talk well.
All right. Tone it down. I had that shitty sandwich Weston got for me earlier, so I'm still reeling. I don't even know what I was talking about. What was I saying?
You want somebody to come clean your pad.
Oh, yeah, but my whole thing...
And your butthole.
I'm afraid...
Do they do that? You got to ask him in the ad. Hey, do you do buttholes?
I don't know if the same person cleans your butt that cleans your house.
I don't wipe well.
You do that. You have someone that cleans, but here's my question. I'm so scared they're gonna go through all my shit and look through weird shit that I have or find stuff.
They do.
And I don't want that.
They will and they do. So what you have to do, any kind of shit, like if I have anything I don't want them finding, I put that shit in my purse and I then have that on me. So I'm riding dirty. I don't leave shit in my house for the cleaning team to find because, yes, they do go through your shit, and yes, they do tell people.
So if there was a journal in there and it said journal, deep thoughts, you think they would go in there and...
Absolutely.
It's fucked up, man.
Yeah, especially.
I don't know what to tell you. The best thing you can do, and a long time ago I had this old ass lady that didn't know who I was or didn't give a shit about the radio, had not a clue, and didn't care. She was just there to clean, and she left, and there was never any. That's the kind of person you need.
I need an old person.
You need somebody who doesn't know who you are or care who you are,
Yep.
and they just want to clean, and they don't really put the connection.
Okay.
Otherwise, whoever it is going to tell all their friends whatever they find in your house. He can't wipe well. He's got kind of shitty drawers.
Yeah, can you believe? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We want to keep some secrets here.
Yeah. So that's what you need. We actually got this text message that said, hey guys, serious question. When you wipe, do you fold or scrunch ball up the TP?
Fold.
Yes.
I think it depends on the mood and probably the TP I got.
He don't wipe well.
He doesn't. He doesn't even know what he does.
I'll tell you what I do subscribe to that you've taught me. I actually love the wet wipes now.
The wet wipes are on point.
It's the only way to go. It really is. I am a believer, and I will never go away from that.
And see, you rent, so use wet wipes as much as you want. Doesn't matter if you clog up the toilet. They have to fix it. Now that I'm a homeowner, I'm a little bit more like I only use a wet wipe if it's really a situation.
Mama gets messy.
If it's something that the regular TP can't handle, then I bring in the crew, the wet wipe.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all about the wet wipe.
It is. The wet wipe is so nice.
Steve from DC sent an email, said, hey, I was wondering if you guys had an update about what you did about your bird problem, Kev, the mockingbirds.
Oh, yeah.
It's funny enough, you know what? That will be actually featured on the upcoming KVJ Cribs starring Kevin Ralston.
Yeah.
We have a little bit of an incident caught on camera.
Yeah, you got to see it. We went in, and the mockingbirds were active yesterday, and now the mommy and the daddy are there. And I don't know if the babies are there because they're really protective. In fact, we were in the house and we came out just then. I'm like going, because they asked about the mockingbirds. I'm like, oh, let me show you. Just then a hawk goes screeching across the sky, and here come the mockingbirds after it. They were chasing it away.
Whoa.
And they're going, yeah, and they have this weird, like, intimidating kind of like screech kind of thing, and you got to see it, and I think you guys got it on film.
I think we got like half a wing, but it'll still tell a story.
But the one thing they did get to see, remember I was telling you about the nest?
Yeah.
There's two. There's another one. There's two
They
nests.
found another one when they're filming. Jeffrey's going, I think there's another nest. I'm like, oh crap, there is. There's two. But you can see because I get my stuff out of the passenger door, and you look up, and honestly,
it's ridiculous how close this nest is to the car.
The nest, you turn around, if you looked at it, like the bird would be in your eyeball in a split second.
If you open up a passenger door in his parking lot, you open it up, you're like, oh shit, there's a bird nest. I mean, you can.
It's within like 3 feet. Yeah, you could reach out your hand and touch it. It's that close.
Why would they build it that close to your car?
Well, especially after I was reading that they remember you from year to year, and it's like, so they have
like they're
memory.
messing with you.
It is. It's like they're going, because they knew how much even Cannon was talking about his experiences from last year and how he had to swoop
It
and
was so
duck.
funny. Cannon's talking about, because the birds look like they perch on a branch and they're just looking at Kevin, and we were talking about how those birds memorize faces. He's like, Dad, those birds, they memorize your face.
They know you.
They recognize you.
They do. They sit there and they give me that death stare. They look, and then like right now they're just fucking with me because I get home and they're just sitting there looking. Like right now they haven't started swooping and attacking, but they're just looking, saying, "Oh yeah, it's coming."
Pretty
It's
interesting
coming.
dynamic, because if you go out the front yard, they've got the birds that will attack him. Then if you go across the street, they have the neighbor that hates him. In the backyard, there was a bee problem. So it's like he's a prisoner in his own home.
It is. It's crazy. it's crazy, Virginia. It's like I'm just stuck in there. Yeah, you get to see all of it when we do the cribs, KVJ cribs.
I can't wait.
And
Kevin edition.
And if we didn't quite get the bird on camera, we'll do a reenactment.
You can come back because they're just warming up.
Yeah, the babies may not be born yet.
Yeah, I think they're just now starting to like get really, because that's the first time I've seen them chasing other predator birds out.
What if you had somebody come over and move that nest?
I don't know. You're talking about nature, humans' nature.
Yeah, I
Let
don't
nature
even
be
know.
nature, V.
I don't even know.
Why do you hate birds so much?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think like Kevin's gonna end up getting an eye poked out.
I don't know.
He'll be on the phone. It'll be something where he's not paying attention.
Here's
and all
the
of a
You're
sudden,
aware of it. No.
He has a beak in his eye.
No, BDI versus beak. I'm going BDI all day long.
No, they got me, but I wear the sunglasses. I make sure, but it's like they were, and they fly aggressively. And when I was pulling into the house yesterday, they were flying nervously between the driveway to the one tree to the top of the house in that triangle motion. Like, and I'm like, oh,
Attack mode. It looked like
They're triangulating.
and I had to I had to drive right into the middle of that. And I'm like, oh.
That would have been good. They're triangulating. That would have been good on the video.
They're triangulating.
Oh my gosh.
It's a good word.
They're
I
so
like that
intimidating. Steve said, I'm 26 years old. I'm deathly afraid of birds. When I was about 2 years old, my grandma picked me up to look at the nest of eggs that a bird had laid in the planter hanging on her carport. At that exact moment, the mockingbird attacked, dive bombing my head several times. I was not cut or hurt by the bird, but being struck in the head several times by a bird at age 2 is quite alarming.
Damn.
Ever since then, I have avoided birds like Jason avoids buildings.
I mean, you need to avoid Grandma. She kind of sets you up.
Look,
Yeah.
I have been bit by several birds, and I'm talking from age 5 on. I got bit by an ostrich, which was traumatic. I mean, and that thing bit my whole fucking hand. I gave it a stick, and it bit my entire hand, only to look up at my dad laughing.
Well, you gave it a stick.
I was 5, dude. Oh my God. I was memorized by the buffalo dick I was looking at.
Mesmerized.
Oh my God.
I was memorized.
Mesmerized.
I tried to memorize his dick.
I said mesmerized, all right? I got
No, you didn't. You said
Well,
memorize.
I know what mesmerized means, all right? Get off my shit.
Forever. Whenever I close my eyes, all I see is buffalo dick.
It was.
And I like it.
No, the buffalo dick. The buffalo was actually. The buffalo. He was a good 3 feet off the ground, and he had a boner, a buffalo boner. And
So was his boner longer than his legs?
On the buffalo, right here. Okay, it was about this high. So this is the stomach of the buffalo. It had a boner, and it was about touching the ground. And me and my dad stared at that thing for a good 6 minutes. We were in awe.
Dick envy.
And so it began.
This thing was huge. Didn't seem natural.
And he memorized it.
So, your love of looking at cock was passed down from your dad to you?
And I should have
I
told him.
remember when I was a young boy, me and my dad would go out and look at
We love to look at cock.
That didn't come out the right way.
all kinds of dicks, Virginia.
Hours, Kevin. We would spend.
If it had a dick, we looked at it.
The point of the story was to talk about how we were just
It didn't matter.
shocked by animals.
Oh, we got hungry.
Bulls, elks, owls.
Our mouths were watering. Oh
It was
man,
a father-son bonding.
I hope my dad doesn't think I'm talking weird shit about him. That's not, Dad. That's not what it was about. I'm sorry if this somehow gets back to you, because it will.
Hey, Jabber, you want to go out dick watching today?
No, I don't want people.
Get your binoculars.
Dad.
I don't want people. To,
I love it.
I don't want people thinking that's what me and my. We played Monopoly games like in McDonald's. We weren't always buffalo dick watching.
Nothing makes a weekend like looking at some Shaft, Dad.
It wasn't a common occurrence.
They had like a check sheet. They'd be like, okay, now we see.
Buffalo dick? Check.
Rhino cock.
Check.
Check.
Neighbor's dick? Check.
No, although I did see my neighbor's dick as well. They were swingers and they had holes in the fence, and my brother told me where they were at.
Can we get a full inventory of all the dicks you've seen?
Still a lot of dick.
As a child.
So many dicks, so little time, Virginia. So many dicks, so little time.
I swear, I'm not trying. I'm good mentally. Nothing bad happened to me as a kid. I'm fine.
Oh, man. All right.
I'm tired.
That's why we got to go. All right, hey, this weekend, got some time. They got a lot of great-looking dicks at Bud's Chicken and Seafood. If you want some great food and see some awesome dicks.
How do I morph into a Bud's commercial after that?
You know, another thing you do, you put bird sauce on your dick.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, you could. But
Have you?
No. Come on. I'm not an animal. But go
Because if I was, I want to see my dick.
But if you have some time, go this week and try the bird sauce.
7 different locations, all kinds of great food. It's awesome for the weekend for the entire family. Bud's Chicken and Seafood, sponsored today's After the Show podcast. You guys have a great weekend. Goodbye.
Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.